Frank,
Here.
Roberto Gonzalez, Valerie Gonzalez,
Present.
Ruby Rangel, Nidia Robles,
Present.
Francisco Reyes, Myra Hernandez. So we are 6, so we have 4.
So my report is based on the meeting that I had, and Valerie was there as well, with Melissa Cigarroa and the city attorney's office on our local government corporation and what it means, and the necessity for, if there is a necessity for lease, since the local government corporation it was created by the city to function, and their point of view as a city attorney's office is that there needs to be some sort of document, because it's not specific in the creation of the local government corporation how the city was going to participate. There is some language in there, but not enough to help the city attorney's office feel comfortable without some sort of, let's call it a use agreement of the space. It doesn't have to really be called a lease, he said, but some kind of a use agreement for the space and who's taking care of what. He doesn't think that we need to pay property taxes, obviously, since it's a city building, and we'll be able to strike those things that are commonly done for other types of leases. And they want to just have, there is language in there that says they're taking care of the building, they want us to pay all the insurances, but when I brought up the issue of the fact that we're on TML, he didn't know that, so we gave him some information, and he's checking up on that. We can be, because we're created by the city. You know, this is the first local government corporation that has been created in the city for this type of thing. There's really, you know, the housing authority is essentially a local government corporation, and the El Metro is essentially that as well, but they don't function exactly like a local government corporation can. They don't have, well, the housing authority does have its own board, but they're appointed just like, it's like created by the city. I think El Metro, the city council is the board. So, but in this type of LGC, it's the first of its kind to work in Laredo. Houston has 26. There's one for the zoo, there's one for a park, there's one for, you know, all sorts of different types of things, just like this, special use. The reason that they're really great is because you can have city participation. Like, you guys who are part of the city generally can't be on a board, on a nonprofit board. You can't. The city doesn't allow it. But on this one you can, because it's created by the city. So that's really great. It's really great to have that. So the other half of that is that you're also a nonprofit, essentially, that can bring in donations and other monies from foundations and other things that generally they don't give to cities. So that's why this is like an important structure, especially for what we're doing. So that was all discussed, and there was, you know, a little bit of concessions made on that. In terms of funding, of course, that ends up at the city manager's office. But there is a necessity to do some kind of agreement. I asked them to reference, there was a service agreement that they wanted from us. I asked them to reference what the city had adopted. Instead of putting, you know, their own language in there, the city would. So it's moving in the right direction, I think. I think it was a really good meeting. We still haven't hit on, we have a budget. We went back to the budget to, not at that meeting, but we had collected information on how to create the budget because, you know, we were going through different formats. And what we're using now is the format the city uses in their budgets. So if you've ever looked at it, it's, you know, really plain and simple in what they do, and they say they have their performance measures. That's what we're completely doing it like that. There's still some, you know, there's still some things that research that we've done that shows that certainly this organization is considered as part of the city. It has 2 full-time employees designated to it that have, I believe in 2021, there was funds allocated for that, but I don't think, I wasn't part of the board then, so I don't think they came to the board. I think the only amount that came was $125,000, which was, in the budget was $150,000, but only $125,000 came, and that was in 2020. So there's some stuff that we need to work out, and we're gonna go visit the city manager and show them our budgets. For 3 years, they want to see a 3-year budget cycle type of thing. And right now they said, you know, unless we come up with a different, the last meeting was come, bring us your budgets, otherwise it's going to stay, you know, what we've been giving it to you, because you haven't showed us a plan. We have not. That is true. We have not followed the manner in which you're supposed to ask for funding. We have gotten help for 2 years, based on $45,000 each year, but we haven't had a clear, you know, from a city manager. He's the first, thank God, in a long time that has said, put a budget together and show me. You know? So anyways, we're in the process. Val has been helping a lot in putting that together. And that's really what I have as an update. More to come. I think there'll be a meeting in the next couple of weeks with the city manager. If anybody would like to join, you're welcome to join.
I would love to join.
Okay.
And I did have a question. Did, by any chance, talk about any of the utility fees for the lease agreement?
No, we glossed over all of that because so much of it, we need to respond and say, you know.
Like this section.
Right, like say, okay, utility fees, I'm not quite sure what they're asking for. I also said, hey, there's a certain amount of money that's being spent there now by the city, cleaning up and blah, 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 all that stuff, which if they would allocate those funds to just directly to LCUAS, because of the way Jose can hire people, you know, on a part-time basis or, you know, as needed to accomplish the work that they do, you know, I think we can probably make better use of those monies and make them stretch farther. So that's something that he couldn't answer, of course. It's a city manager decision, basically.
But right now, everything that's being managed through the Conseco is out of Parks and Rec, am I understanding?
Is either what?
It's coming out of Parks and Rec.
Yes, the bit of work that they do, it's like twice a week or something?
Yeah.
Twice a
So
week.
basically, the agreement was that LCAS was in charge of half of the property, the garden side of the property. But if you all remember, they gave us access to the house in January, right? So the whole idea is that hopefully soon we can take the other part of the garden, which is actually the pollinator garden, which we don't take care of right now. It's the city part of the property. They take care of that part and the pathways, the banquetas, right? On the hierro, they clean it up. That's their side of the building, of the property.
But it's two guys that come.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a,
They normally come once a month during regular scheduled months.
Operating hours.
In summer, sometimes they help me more than that during summer months, which means June, July.
so if whatever that costs, if they could just bring it over to this side,
Expenditures of LCA.
right, I think we can spend those monies a little bit better. So, what, oh, let's see. So, you were asking about the utilities and all of that. Well, we have to respond to that lease or I don't know, memorandum of agreement for the use of that space. And I don't know how much the water is, and I don't know what the utilities would be for that place. I don't think it would be a lot. I don't think it's a sticking point either way, but, you could tell me what, I know
I have a
that,
question regarding that. For city properties, do you all get billed for water, light, gas? And then if you do, is part of your budget to pay those bills, or is there, because you're a municipality, it's charged, but then it's exempt? I don't know that of it.
No.
I mean, how they build and.
How they bill.
If I'm just
And
saying,
if
we just pay-
there's really a transaction there, because again, for municipality or nonprofits, let's say sometimes, because your tax purposes, for example, you have property, there is an appraisal for it, it's still in the tax roll, but you're exempt, so you're not charged. But
Right.
all the process is there. Is it the same for
I
utilities?
do believe that we do pay.
Utilities?
Yes,
So then there should be,
I believe
we
so.
can
That's
ask
what
for
we
that.
can ask.
It
for
makes
that.
sense, 'cause-
Yeah, I would figure the same thing, but I don't know, so I just wanna make sure that
Yeah, because we do, when we write our grants, we do put in direct costs for things.
The
such as
utilities and all,
the-
okay.
yes.
So, but as a building, you probably have I don't know, you probably go with one provider. Obviously, it's the city for the water, but for the electricity, there's probably some agreement with a provider for that. So, we would need to get that information. Maybe Mr. Flores can send it to us. Okay,
So those were the questions that we were having last time, and we were going over it, and we said, well, we kind of already had an idea of why those inquiries were there, but we're like, are we gonna be responsible with that? And this is gonna change, because maybe that's not an expense we're considering, because we don't have it. and so-
right.
so-
I don't agree with the insurances. I mean, I think we need our insurances, but anything that can be part of TML should be part of TML.
What's TML?
Texas Municipal.
Or, yeah,
League.
League, but but it's like all of Texas cities use it for insuring their properties and people and boards and things like that.
So that's the one that
We were
we got
talking
just for
about.
220.
Right. that's the board insurance or something that we got. And I think it doesn't make any sense to, have those insurances if it's a city. I know they ask other people to do that, but it doesn't make any, I don't know if they ask everybody who has a municipal building that are being, it doesn't make sense. It's a cost that is so much higher when you go out to the, one-off instead of a whole bucket of buildings, So,
Well, we just wanna make sure that if some insurances are not needed, then we don't need to go with that expense. But if they are needed, then find out exactly what is it that we need so we can get quotes and maybe get something where we can be cheaper instead of paying $1,500 for the board, $220 for the TML, and then they were asking for general liability, well, the
Yeah.
lease or whatever.
yeah, no, I know they're asking for all of that, and that's why I'm trying to tell you, I think wherever TML can help us,
Mhm.
they should do it.
So they'll give us that information and then once we get that
Well, it's an
information.
ask, I mean, that's an ask, I really am at a loss as to why we would do something different, but especially where the building is concerned. I mean,
So,
I don't see the purpose of that.
I agree. Unless there's other logical, law-related reasonings that I'm just not aware of, but other than that, the more I search, it's getting.
I understand getting insurance for events, for grounds, for things like that, I get that, absolutely, but the other, I'm not quite sure why. I think it's just a boilerplate kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're talking about, like, this is probably one of those that we just need to ask and we need to be pretty.
Right.
Adjusted.
So, anyways, that's, any other question? It's an ongoing thing right now.
Well, my only question is who's asking and who are we asking and when are we asking?
It's right now, I mean, it's in the, like, I responded with some information to them.
Okay.
Not on the lease yet. But, on the funding part. And, also with a ask that we meet with the city manager. The city councilwoman is working on that, so I'm assuming it's sometime maybe in the next 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, we'll meet with them. But meantime, I'll mark up what I think we need to do on the lease, and I can send it around. Also on the contract for services, that's like an exhibit to that or something. I think it just is gonna get a lot simpler, because all we gotta do is attach the bylaws that the city approved, and the things that we're supposed to be doing. And our budget with programs and all of that is gonna reflect that. And nice neat little package and say, okay, let's see what happens. I think that's it.
And then part of the package that I know was one of the inquiries from city government was IRS docs or 990s, which the 23 has already been filed based on our information. The 2221, Bobby's going to take care of that because it's past years, we need to do it differently. But it's also simplistic way, we just need to complete that. I did send, and I think you were in the email, but if you're not, let me know and I'll forward it to you. But the documentation, the IRS documentation was forwarded, so we should have it on file. I don't know if we have a shared drive or something, or maybe I can drop it, like drag and drop it in there, just so we can have it. And then if there's some change in boards, I'll make sure it's centralized somewhere. And I think you were in the email, if you weren't in the email, forward that, you want to base that to you. It kind of want it over to anywhere and say, yeah, fun, what were you saying?
Okay.
Say.
Well, how much is it? things coming up.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
talk about that. Let's get through, the secretary's report, and I will talk about all that, because I have some news on that as well.
Okay, so yeah, with the, maybe you already touched a lot on what we talked about in the last meeting. But yeah, so we, discussed the lease agreement and the service agreement. And then we also talked about filing the 990s and how to go about that. So that's basically the majority of the meeting. The minutes are attached. Y'all want to take a couple minutes to review them, and then should I make a motion to approve the minutes?
I wasn't here the last.
I was gonna say, are they
Yeah.
these? Cause I don't wanna call them.
Oh, it says not present. Oh, wait.
It's called to order.
Oh, yeah, I didn't change that. Okay, I'll go ahead and.
I did it telepathic.
You're- okay. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and make that edit. Good catch. Thank you. Okay, so I'll make a motion to edit a minute to reflect that Federico called the meeting, not Vivian.
Okay, all those in favor?
Yeah. Wait, sorry, who's seconded it? Okay. Thank you. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the secretary's report. Is there any questions?
No, but I forgot to read the public comment section, so I should read that now. Citizens are required to notify members of their intent to comment prior to the start of the meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. No more than 3 persons will be allowed to speak on any side of an issue. Should there be more than 3 people who wish to speak on a particular issue, they need to select not more than 3 representatives to speak for them, and the presiding officer may limit the public comments further in the interest of an orderly meeting. Speakers may not pass their minutes, so any other speaker comments should be relevant to the LCUAS business and delivered in a professional manner. No derogatory remarks will be permitted. Did anybody sign up? Let the record show nobody signed up for public comment. Moving on to treasurer's report. Mr. Gonzalez isn't here, so we will, did he say what to do?
He did have an update. He said that we have the 990s for the past 3 years filed already. So
Oh, okay.
we're moving forward in that aspect.
Okay, we need copies of that. If you can make sure
Copies of
we get
it.
that. So we don't have the treasurer's report for this. We'll do it next meeting. All set?
Yes. I don't have a print report for today because honestly, totally forgot about today's meeting. I was called by Barry a few minutes ago. And luckily, I was at Canseco with Sochi because we're planning to attend the farmers market next Saturday. The thing here that I won't be able to attend, I have a personal matter to attend this coming Saturday, but I'm making sure and I'm doing all what it takes to make sure we attend. Luckily, I have Xochitl, Obi, and Meli that are going to take care of the booth, the harvest, and the booth. That's the major thing right now because I will be able to help them this coming Saturday. Also, I want to report that luckily I have many help. I have had many workers, many volunteers for the last month. Actually, last time we attended the farmer's market, I had a good problem, which was I had 9 people, 9 helpers. So I was able to divide my group and keep one group in the farmer's market and go back to the garden and work. So that for the last couple of weeks, or the past month, I have had many help, and I've been super busy at the garden with them, supervising and working with them. Also, I want to report that I've been working with RISC. In addition to the Zapata Creek Coalition, which we are part of that coalition, I'm also working with RISC in another initiative with Ms. Ashley Garcia and Annette, the grant writer, because we are going to apply to a 5,000 grant, 5K grant called HEB Trees for Texans. So we have been working for the last couple of weeks. We are putting together the application. We are a team. We're going to apply in a team, both RISC and LCUIS. And our deadline is June 7th, but we are going to have everything ready by June 1st and apply before the deadline. So that's why we are working super hard to have it ready a week ahead of the deadline. And that's the most important thing that I have to report right now, in addition to all the other important things that you are mentioning today. I can send you the hard copy of my report by tomorrow without a problem.
Well, but it has to have those 6.
Yes, that's the way I've been doing it for the last months. The only thing that I don't have ready for today, but that's it, I can have it by tomorrow.
So you don't have a notification for, you didn't notice me?
Yeah, but I totally forgot.
I did want to ask on that note, is everybody getting the emails for these meetings? Yeah, is there somebody who's not receiving them? Yeah. They're probably not here too, not, but.
That's why I'm not there.
Yeah, but okay, well, it's good to know everybody
I
here.
don't know if Francisco is getting them, because I don't know if you have the
Updated
his new email or his.
Yeah.
No, well, people need to be called, that's for sure. And reminded.
We can be sure to call them to remember.
Yeah, I get phone calls to get reminded. I do, someone calls me, I think. And
Is Angie?
Yeah, I get called.
She calls me too, when I'm just like right around across the hall. You're gonna be there or
Not
not?
this time, no.
I didn't.
Yeah,
No.
it's the only time.
So, that's not, but I mean, you know, anyways.
That's actually one of the ways I remind my.
I said, no, but the reality is you should be sending reminders to everybody. So,
Well, maybe that's a trick. You know, you send us a reminder, so you're gonna have to remind yourself to remind the student.
Yeah.
¿Lo tienes en tu calendario de
Yeah.
teléfono? That's like the way I live with my.
Well, I changed
Oh my
phones,
God,
that's
I was
probably why
trying to do that.
I just changed
Yeah,
phones, and that's why, a lo mejor por eso no me llegó la.
so this gets us to a little bit of a, been trying to get files for our LCUAS. Are there no standard operating procedures where filing is, do you use Google, do you?
Yeah. we-
So is there a
Well, I
way-
actually use Word, I use Microsoft Office for, the letters that I send, or the letters of support.
I know, but you're the only one that has it, and that's not.
Yeah, I can share everything I have.
Do you have
Yeah.
Office 365
Uh,
or Google Docs?
Yeah, I have
Office 365? Because you could create a working document and you can actually link everybody on there to share it, if you do. And if you don't, then maybe we can make a budget request for Office 365, it's not too expensive.
Office what?
365. Office
Yeah,
365.
365.
Has a
But Google,
Yeah.
And I think also Office 365, if I'm not mistaken, it is like $175 or something like that, but nonprofits get it for free. Cause we used to pay for it and then we found out, so now we get it.
And you can make registration forms on there and all that sorts of
Volunteers
stuff.
for a lot of things.
Very worth it.
You know what?
People can sign, if you need something signed, like volunteer signature, what
Yeah,
you can set
that's
up where it's a
something that we
signature.
I just implemented the signing
Mhm.
papers,
They
yeah.
get the LC students to create those things for you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're already there, and that's
Yeah.
something they're gonna need to know if they're gonna run nonprofits in the future.
Yeah,
Might
and
as
it's
well
called,
start building it for you.
because they're supposed to come this Saturday to help us.
What documentation is required for getting the Office 365 for free?
I
Like,
think just like the EIN, the EIN, the,
501(c)(3) letter
Yeah.
just to confirm.
Okay.
so just, contact like help support, if you already have it, and just say like, we're a nonprofit, cause at the beginning, like, I mean, you don't know when you just get it, or it's already, when you're there, it's already there. So you're just like, oh, it's just part of it, we have to pay for it, but we looked into it, cause we're trying to cut on our budget, like expenses, and we're like, but we need it. So then we're like, what if maybe, so we literally just asked, and,
It was free.
and I think for 5 years ago.
You have it free because you're a 10 student for long.
I was, yes.
So,
No, you're, that's
so
life.
the
I wanna-
issue,
Office
the
365.
issue
Well, that's
is
the
we
offer that I
can't,
use, that I actually use.
I was thinking.
the issue is we cannot get, somehow or another, what, can you explain that, the issue, please?
Necesitamos que tener, like, we need to have a central place where everybody can get everything. So si puedes aventar todos ahí, no sé si sería trabajo, pero convertirlos en Google o como dice, para que tengamos todo el 365, porque ahorita cuando necesitamos algo como que no hay donde, solo lo que hay ahí, lo que
Pero
hay es
esto se
un
tiene que
poquito.
hacer ya, porque no podemos, ay, en español estoy hablando. I mean, the thing is that we've been trying to get this information and we can't get it, so can you explain what the issue is? Because we need it so that we can do these budgets.
We just need to create a shareholder, that's it.
But,
Well, but no, we need
how
access.
quick can you get it for us? Like, so, but is that realistic considering other obligations you may have between today and
Yeah,
tomorrow?
I can have my report and a share drive or a share space with all the LCOS files, yeah.
And there, can you create one like just for the boards? Maybe we can keep some of these things in the board packages, so for record retention purposes, it's all there?
Yeah.
Okay, but realistically, tomorrow would be ideal, or do you need a few more days, so you're not rushing?
By Monday, is that okay?
Is that okay with the board?
That's fine with me, but
I think as long as we get the shared, and then the organization part can start, we can start working on it, but, because if there's like, for example, with our nonprofit, directors change constantly, so what we do is we have binders with information, so whatever I need, I know I can just go to that binder and find that information. And if whatever else is needed, right, or grants that we've done before, I'll go and guide myself with the ones, okay, what has been done in the past, or what has, so, and I think for LCOS no hay nada, o sea, sí hay, pero lo tienes
Sí, todo
tú,
tenemos
¿verdad?
todo.
So I think if we can get a little bit more organized, like, fighting for this.
Well, and the challenge is if your computer crashes, where are you gonna get it from?
No, I have a backup, I mean, I have everything backed up.
Okay, good.
so the thing is that Monday, seguro. Okay.
Now, if you can have it sooner, awesome, but.
Are you gonna use Google Forms in the meantime? Because I don't know how
I'm gonna-
long Office 365 is gonna take.
I'm gonna create a share folder and I'm gonna populate
Everything.
I have, right now, and then if we have to change formats or whatever, we'll do it.
Or how we have our shared file, you know how I've been sending you todas las cosas.
Sí.
Ahí échalos todos,
Sí,
and then
sí.
I'll fix it, just throw it all in there, todo.
Yeah.
Yo lo acomodo. Thank you.
Perfect. Pon tu plan.
So,
I'm telling you, because that's what I would do. That's why I'm always on my phone, everyone. I'm always like, okay, to do for a COA.
Same.
Yes, to do.
So executive session, we don't have any item for executive session, so maybe we can jump that. Moving on. Discussion with possible action on update on accounting bookkeeping. If I may, I had contacted Jacqueline Hinojosa. Anybody here know her?
No.
Oh, Jackie, yes.
Jackie.
Mhm.
She's a level 2 accountant. It's level 1, level 2 CPA. She's a level 2. She's worked with a lot of nonprofits. Her hourly rate is $55. And she knows how to do program costing and all of that. As we get more money through grants, the program, each one of those grants has its own time schedule, and it's basically its own like little mini account, right? So that you're able to report the way the grant needs to be reported, and you're able to also use it later when other grants come in and you show how you've been using those, each one of those grants in your programs. She explained it quite succinctly. I'm not an accountant, so I may have not explained it that well, but essentially, it's like, if you have a project, all those monies that are tied to that project, that goes under an account, and then it all gets reconciled in QuickBooks with P&Ls and all that stuff. So, but you need that information separated out, especially if you're going for other grants, which she also assists in creating the budgets for. So that's a really great added benefit. That's how I know her. She helped us with MHM in the coalition I was in. She didn't do everything, but the little bit that we worked with her with, she was great and very knowledgeable, and she had a lot of patience, which is I think what we need. And so I was hoping that we could like take a vote, because I think that's the most, I don't know how this would work. Do you all want to meet with her, or can we get started? Or she can actually do everything, like she'll take over what Bobby's doing. Bobby, as a treasurer, you're really not the bookkeeper, you know? And so she can start with that. We don't have a lot. How many checks a month do you write?
Yo no los escribo bien.
Oh, Bobby.
Bobby escribe 2 al mes para mí.
And like, we don't pay out to anybody or buy anything or anything like that?
Well, normally, if I need something from Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, I get a refund by him, but that's it.
So how many checks?
No, pero en realidad nunca,
Okay.
2 checks per month.
So you see, it's very little, and so she could like take over
That responsibility.
and she does the 990s, she does all of that.
Okay, so would we contract her like per project, or would it be like she's constantly on call and then she just bills us her hours, or?
I think what we do is if we decide, we have her have a sit down, or she looks at our books. She says, okay, it's gonna take me this long to like organize them the way they need to be organized, because I can tell you, we're trying to put this budget together. Did you add that in here?
Yes,
Oh,
it's here.
For which one, I'm sorry?
This, did you add
The
this?
expense for what?
This is Laredo Center, this is what you were working on.
What are we asking if I put in?
Did you put I have this in here, did you add it?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, we have it. Sorry, I was right.
All right, so we need like more concepts, things broken down better in our accounting. You know, like, we have money coming in from from MHM. How are you accounting? Are you just putting it one lump, there's no separate account for the money, what we're supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
How we're supposed to be breaking it down, all of that stuff? Where is it sitting? Is it in a general fund? Is it like in a separate account, or is it earmarked in our, like, we shouldn't be using those monies for anything other than that grant.
Yeah.
So,
So do you need a motion for us to move forward to either meet or to?
I would say, listen, mean, I can only equate it to what we do in my family or my own business. I mean, I make a decision to hire somebody and say, I don't know what to do. I've never hired, as much as I've been on nonprofits, I've never directly hired anybody even. How do you do it in Main Street? You just give it to somebody?
We'll find the information about the account in one or two different ones, and then
Get it in, or?
and then we bring it to the board and the board approves. Usually by the time we give the information, we explain just like a little bit about them and what they've done, who they work with. Just like, I mean, I personally know Jackie because she also helped for a short amount of time with Main Street.
I'm sorry.
But Main Street has a lot of transactions, and so I honestly do think the way she worked, she went to her office and she also said like, okay, this is all you have, it's gonna take me about, I don't know, 10 hours or I don't know, 24, whatever, right? And then she'll
You should grab all the information.
She'll grab all the
work on it, and
information.
bill us.
Yes, but I think we don't have like that much, so I think she's a good option, honestly, to be honest. Like 55, she works well. She works with other nonprofits. I know she was also working with Councilwoman Alicia Sierra. So she's good.
For what was she working with her for?
I'm not sure if it's for the Daphne Foundation. I think. But honestly, I think right now it's not gonna be like, it's only gonna be for the hour that she's gonna go and look at the books. So I'm thinking maybe 2 to 3 hours a month.
Well, I'd like for her to also be available for every now and then to come to the meetings and to do a report.
Yeah, well, I'm including that hour here.
So, but I do think she's gonna have to like organize stuff and
Yeah.
that's gonna take a few hours, but.
So why don't we do a motion to have her explain how she will, or exactly what is it that she will.
She gave a list of all the things she can do.
Well,
I think that what you're inquiring about, she already did with the interim president for the board. And so the next step would be then to ask the director to get either the final quote or a contract?
Well,
Or
I
did you have
guess
that?
she would have to meet, I guess with you
Yes,
and go
uh-huh.
through, and with Bobby maybe, to tell us, okay, it's gonna take,
Yes.
I don't know, 5 hours to get this all straight. And then 3 hours a month or something.
yes,
Yeah.
so
And then
motion,
since the quote,
But the other quote was for $100 an hour. If I remember, Bobby was
actually it was 250.
an hour? Is that for a CPA or?
That's what I had, month, per, something validated. John Jordan, ¿verdad?
Mhm.
Plus he would charge us 1,500 for every 990 he would buy.
Oh, yeah, that's why we're doing the night.
So it was 250 per
I
month
think, let's just,
plus the 990. So-
motion for Jackie Hinojosa to move forward and meet with executive director and treasurer, Bobby Gonzalez to come up with a quote.
Well, I mean,
Or
I
to
think we should
present the
also
plan.
say, well, up to like, let them make a decision together.
I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Rather than having to wait another month to come back to what they said. So how would we couch that? Make a motion
For
to,
Jackie Hinojosa.
No, approve that the director move forward with Ms. Hinojosa, becoming our accountant or bookkeeper,
Mhm.
or make the decision.
sorry, to meet with him and to meet with Bobby to go over, our QuickBooks and to, allow Bobby and Jose to make a decision on whether, the hours are,
Services.
the services are correct and to move, and if they do, they move forward. Okay?
Yes.
Is that I
Yes.
can't make the motion.
Motion, you can, motion for that.
But essentially is for them to be able to, make the decision that the hours she's quoting are correct and.
Reasonable, yeah, so
Reasonable
she's
and-
not saying like 20 hours when we
Right.
have 2 transactions, so.
Right. Right, and then to move on from there.
And honestly, she's good, like, she's not gonna try to get more hours than what she really, because she does have like a lot of work, so she'll be like 1 hour here, like, if we can do this, or 2 hours, you know, so. I think. So, motion, and then we need
who
a second.
seconds? You wanna read back the motion?
Okay. I don't think I got it fully, but possible action to meet and decide, with, accountant to decide whether they will work with her for set amount of hours, for agreed upon hours.
No, they have the,
Yeah, I'm
Just
sorry,
leave it
for,
for
okay, okay, for
motion.
executive director and treasurer.
Yes.
With Ms. Melissa. Actually, to proceed on accounting, bookkeeping services.
and
for
if they
those
find it
meetings.
reasonable that they should,
Yeah, approve it.
So it's just
Approve it.
approval for us, the board allows for executive director and treasurer to proceed with the process for the bookkeeper accounting,
contracting.
contracting services.
Okay, no, she's not a bookkeeper, she's an
Oh, accountant, sorry. Scratch the bookkeeper, accountant.
Okay,
We need a second.
all right. All those in favor, oh, there was a second, did you say?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those against? Motion carries.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, we can strike that one off. Do you have anything on the next discussion? with
Yes, so
personnel
for
action?
Food Policy Council, we have another email out asking for availability, so if you guys haven't gotten it, please let me know. I wanna say maybe just Myra might be the only one that I didn't see on the list, but I'll verify that. But so far, the dates that I have people, at least 4 or 5, is May 24th, which is a Friday, May 30th, which is a Thursday, and May 31st, which is a Friday. I gave them until next week to submit the availability, so I'll follow up with you guys at Endedia. It'll be at the auditorium across, or either here, depending on what's available. So yes.
What time is it?
Time, I believe, is 1:30. I didn't put an availability time for
Okay.
that. Most of them were available in the PM. I want to say for the 30th, it was after 4 PM. So I just gotta double check and verify what times people selected. And then tomorrow, sorry to interrupt you, we'll be at City Council for the Farm and Agriculture Bill with Pablo Blanco. So we'll be talking a little bit about Food Policy Council, what we do, and localizing the issue to hopefully get them to pass the bill at the statewide level.
At 1:30,
At 1 or 1 PM, sorry, 1 PM. 1 PM.
I should be there.
If you can, this is an
Tomorrow.
initiative that is very important to anybody growing food here.
Yes.
Domain?
Where at? At City Hall. The chambers?
Yeah.
1 PM.
And you need to put, did you put that on the WhatsApp group? for-
I didn't. I'll go ahead and put it.
I thought Palo Blanco did, but you need to explain why it's important.
It's not in the WhatsApp group.
No.
A lot of people don't get the notifications from WhatsApp, I've noticed. You do?
Your
All our
WhatsApp
groups
is
and
correct.
groups and
Yeah.
your office and your, everybody's
Yeah,
on WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
Or Teams. So those are the two that are constantly back and forth. And text.
Okay, so we're almost, well, we're past.
The next item, we needed to scratch out the scheduling a 2-hour workshop. It was an
What?
edit.
I don't think that didn't get taken out.
No.
Didn't I edit that?
It was past the point that we could submit.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. We don't need the workshop, guys. But the part that was there was, the budget, I guess that's why you put this in here, so we need to, like, can you do it? Everybody has a copy of this?
Yes.
Okay, explain what you did.
Okay, so like Ms. Frank said, this is the template that we followed from Keep Laredo Beautiful. The itemized items as we have, needs that we have that we needed. I spoke to Fede about some of the items, for example, in software and apps. We've included what it would cost to maintain the website after Elsie goes ahead and finishes that for us. It's really a simple breakdown, so if you guys see that maybe I missed anything, again, that's why we're working with Ms. Hinojosa, so she can better detail everything, but I think this is a good outline of what we had for our actual year and then the projected 3 years that are coming up. The other handout that I gave you guys, that one kind of talks more about our mission and some of the accomplishments that we've done, a loose budget in the back, as well as some hours, the items that are just numbers, that's hours allocated to that specific item on there. And that's just for you guys to review. That'll be available in the drive, so if you have any edits or things that I might have missed, please send them over and I'll make those adjustments.
This is exactly the format that they have in the budget. And the only, I read the key functions, it seems like we have a lot more than, did you group it?
I did, I just try to kind of make it small, but I can add all of it just for the sake of trying to keep it on a one page.
So, did he verify these?
Aquí faltan, ¿te acuerdas que te había dicho que eran 6? Eran 6 key functions. Es cuestión de agregarlos.
Okay.
Okay, but thanks, but we didn't put the community table together.
For the last Thanksgiving that we did at Levy's?
No. LCUAS did not do it.
We didn't.
We helped. We provided food and stuff like that, we took stuff.
It was these,
So, there's a better way of, we assisted, I suppose. I think we need to separate some of these out as, or we need to look at them as we have a healthy food system plan, and we need to tie this to the goals of and the objectives of the healthy food system plan, and show how they're tied to the accomplishments. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
This is a small thing, but on the last table, it says Laredo Urban Center for Urban Agriculture.
Got it. Okay, so that's it.
We're in between a name change now.
I still haven't done the DBA Lucas, so I don't know why we didn't have Laredo Urban Center, and Laredo Urban Center for Urban Agriculture and Sustainability. I don't understand why we didn't do that.
so they were painting the mural, from the guy, and Miss Elbridge, the teacher from Lamar, she's been asking me, are you gonna change the name or not? I don't have an answer for that, I don't know. So in the meantime, it says LCUAS.
Yes.
We are right now. And she said, if you change the name, I can come and do the modification.
Well, I think it's good that we kept it when we had to do the filings.
Yeah.
Maybe now that we're done with the filings, we can work on it,
No,
yeah.
it's just a matter of changing it at the state as a DBA. That's all it is.
Okay.
I think they're
You want to take that, or you want to
85, 90%. Yes, I mean,
Same
Done.
I think that's all it takes, I don't know. DBA, I think you could do DBA, Laredo Center,
But I don't
Laredo
know,
Urban Center for Agriculture.
I don't know if that impacts the 501c3 designation, or do we have to go to the
No, it's just a
IRS?
DBA, we used to do it, are we still DBAs in Laredo Main Street? It doesn't do anything, right? It's just a DBA.
It just allows you to, I mean,
You
you can do
super
business
change.
as, doing business as,
Right.
instead of doing the whole long name, you do like a smaller, or if you get checks, like for the bank,
I don't know, we look at.
it doesn't have to.
DBA.
It can just say Luca.
Okay.
Accepted.
Yeah, Can you look into it?
Hmm?
SOS, the state of
Done.
Texas. All right.
So we still have one vacant.
Is that it, guys?
The vacant, officer role?
Well, we can't do that until we go with the budget and do all of that. We can choose, but we can't appoint anybody until we set it up to the city and, anyways. And I think the same with the last one. I think we've already purchased the insurance that we have, that we need, right? That's a knockout.
Some
Okay.
edit as well.
Yeah, we've already accomplished that, so number 8, we're done with that.
Does that include the volunteer insurance, or is that something that we would need?
He needs to,
'Cause I know
TML
TML
is
does
a
offer.
volunteer, yeah,
Yeah.
we need to get the volunteer, you've been talking to this guy, right?
Yeah, he said they can send somebody over to meet with us,
Uh-huh.
but that Chad Owens, he's the one that is our point of contact, but he's not the one that we would go for if we need a volunteer, but he did give me a name, of
So
some.
can we go do like a Zoom or something with this
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah, I can organize a time to meet. You want me to plan it so that it lines up with the meeting or a separate? meeting?
No, just like, yeah.
Which,
And then
okay,
if we can come to some conclusion, just get it.
okay.
Can we have a motion, guys? On the
Motion.
volunteer insurance?
Is it in the agenda? Oh, yeah.
What would you, like,
Motion to approve the purchasing of insurance for the 501c3, which should include volunteer board and any other matter from there. So just do that.
Second.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and, reach out to them and schedule a Zoom call with the board.
Yes. And if you want somebody just, you want somebody else to be, maybe Christina will help you.
Yes.
And then if, just get it.
Claudia Poblano.
So is that the motion? Do we have a second?
Yes,
Yeah.
second, yes.
Okay, great. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. I think we can move to, unless there's anything else anybody wants to discuss, we can move to adjourn. Are you, yes? Okay.